Hi, do you have time to listen to your child? What's happening at school, their friends, their interest, or any emotional problem? And more important, is your child happy? Then, if not, today's video is not just about watching but to reflect on. Welcome to EduTrek, and this is Maddie. Today's topic is on mental health and well being. Mental health is often under pressurized due to excessive academic pressure. Do you agree? Well, let's focus on some of the countries where academic performance is prioritized far more than mental well being. When we're speaking about the mental health and well being, it's really very important where most of the time in this busy schedule with the parents, or it could be with the teachers, or it could be the school, most of the time, how it's been handled. So, when we're speaking about it, let's focus on some of the countries where academic performance is given more priority. So, when we're speaking about India, which is a country like India, due to heavy syllabus or exam centric culture or technical teaching or more of a traditional teaching is still prioritized over there. Early comparison or ranks competition is more common in whole education system. Mental health is still stigmatized when parents and teachers hardly refer to counselors. They often mistake with emotional well-being to some sort of psychological issue. Very few schools have counselors, especially government schools. Very common issue in school is that where children are praised for marks, not for emotional resilience. So when we're speaking about a country like China, extremely competitive exam system, they have long study hours, lot of social pressure to succeed and prove, limited open scope for discussion on emotional problem, which results in high stress, burnouts among students. Mental health often addressed after crisis, not before. Whereas when we are speaking about a country like Japan, schooling system, it's more about discipline and performance focused schooling. Most of the time, fear of failure and shame culture and peer pressure. Though some of the measures were taken about mental health discussion, we can say that they are still improving, but still very limited. Whereas emotional distress is often internalized. When we take the example of a country like Pakistan and Bangladesh, still they focus on rote learning for meeting academic success, exam pressure, lack of counselors at school, and mental health is often seen as taboo. When speaking about these countries' education policy, we are not criticizing and we are not saying that they are bad. They are not bad. Their education system produce results, but emotional well-being often comes second. Comparatively, when some of the countries moving towards a balanced approach, where when we are speaking about countries like Finland with low academic pressure, high well-being, in a country like Netherlands where students' happiness is prioritized, in Canada, school counselors and social emotional learning programs is actively involved, and in Australia, they follow a well-being integrated curriculum. In many high school, whereas the high pressure education system across the world, academic success is measured in marks, but emotional health is often measured only after something gets wrong. Whereas we all have to remember one thing, a mental health is really very important, as the child's mind is not a machine for marks, it is space that needs safety, care, and understanding. And we're speaking about some of the experts, what they say about academics versus mental health in school. According to World Health Organization, mental health is as important as academics learning, especially in childhood, whereas WHO warns academic pressure is a major risk factor for anxiety and depression in children. Many school systems focus on performance but not on emotional safety, whereas mental health support usually comes after crisis, not before. WHO also stresses early emotional support in schools, not just counseling after problem arises. Whereas UNESCO focuses on some of the observation that schools worldwide are producing high achievers but not always emotionally healthy learners. UNESCO also highlights that exam centric education increases fear of failure, whereas the students are rarely taught how to manage stress, how to express emotions, how to seek help. High recommendations on social and emotional learning, which is SEL, as essential but not as an optional. OECD, which is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, educational policy experts, they have a finding which they say that due to some of the countries with extreme academic competition, which shows burnout among students, emotional withdrawal, reduced life satisfaction in students, whereas well-being is often measured last, whereas marks are measured first. According to child psychologists and pediatric mental health experts, they consistently focus and they insist that children feel stressed as deeply as adults. Silence is not equal to strength. Good grades can hide emotional suffering too. Younger children often cannot explain distress in words. So there is a warning saying that when emotional pain is ignored, children may express it through behavior or it could be silence at times. Overall, global experts they agree that a calm, emotionally safe child learns better than a fearful one. What experts recommend, which is really very important. Experts, they not only just criticize, they even suggest solutions as well. So, when it comes to the solution for the parents, it is all about marks matters, but mind matters more. Children don't always say, I am stressed. They show it through silence, fear, anger, or withdrawal. Parents, they need to understand good grades just do not guarantee emotional well being. Pressure at home multiplies pressure at school too. Children need emotional safety before academic success, and parents need to understand that. Whereas, advice to the parents is that listen more and lecture less. Ask, how was your day today? Instead of asking, which grade, what marks did you get? At the same time, never dismiss emotions with saying, it's okay, it's nothing, it's all right, everything is gonna be fine. Reassure your child that failure is not the end of success, whereas it's just the beginning. Key message to all the parents: a child who feels safe at home can face the world with confidence. And if it is for the teachers, it is all about mental health. You teach subject, but you touch lives too. Teachers are often the first adults outside the family who can notice emotional distress in children. What children is about growing, about the emotional intelligence, it's only the teacher who understands at school. The advice to the teacher you ought to know that is behavior changes are often emotional signals. Silence is not discipline, it may be distress too. Fear based learning harms long term learning. Advice to the teachers: notice sudden change in behavior or performance rather than waiting. Just refer to the counselor. It's not about a taboo, it's not about any kind of an stigmatization. It's all about explaining and understanding the child. Create a classroom where mistakes are safe and to express their emotion without any fear. Encourage expression, not just obedience. Whatever expressions is there have, expression of joy, happiness, doubt, fear, whatever, let them express it. It's not about just obeying your orders. Refer early, but don't wait for crisis. Message for all the teachers: a teacher who understands emotions teaches more than a syllabus. Lastly, it is for the policymaker, for the schools, for the entire education system. High scores mean little without healthy mindset. Do you all agree? Global education bodies like WHO and UNESCO warns that academic excellence without mental health support creates fragile future. So we all have to think about that. Where is our future heading? So whereas which also highlights on mental health support in schools is preventive but not optional. Counselors reduce long term social and health crises, whereas early intervention saves lives and resources. Some of the recommendations for the policymakers is, which was suggested by the World Health Organization, UNESCO, and WHO, that mandatory social counselors. It's mandatory that every school has a social school counselor, whereas to address any sort of an issue which is going on with the child. Mental health education from primary level. It's not about the mental health is required only for the future guidance or a kind of a career guidance, but it's very important when the child is not able to express his emotions at that time. A child needs someone to speak freely, openly about what the child is going through. Teacher training in emotional literacy, whereas the teacher comes up with only with the subject knowledge, whereas every teacher has to be taught how to handle the emotions of every child. National policies that measure student well-being, not only just the marks but very important, even the well-being of the child as well. A key message for all the policymakers: a nation's progress depends on the emotional health of its children, but not on the academics. When schools focus only on academic success, emotional struggles remain invisible until it's too late, because mental health awareness in schools is not about lowering your standards. It's about raising healthier, stronger human beings for the better future. So it's never late than before. Let's take care of every child's mental health and well being, because mental health matters. Before it's too late, you need to address it before the child a kind of a crisis they are going through. So please reflect on mental health and well being and just take care of every child. Because if we are focusing on every child's mind, then in the sense it is all about we are taking care for a better future. Thank you and take care of the child.